Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for the show. The Premier League season has finally concluded and in very dramatic fashion to say the least. But yeah, let's crack on with it. In terms of the title race, Manchester City were victorious. So were Liverpool in that regards, but I feel like it was always going to be a difficult task for Liverpool to get the title. At one point, it looked like it was written in the stars for Liverpool to get that win. But in terms of Liverpool's performance, they didn't start the game really well. Mistake by Konate in the first half where the goal kick was executed quite well, but he misread the bounce and went over his head. And then you got Jimenez, who looked really effective in the first half, especially put a nice cross for Neto, and pretty much an easy finish for him. So at that stage, you're like, oh, we actually forgot the fact that Wolves, are a decent team. They could probably get the win or take some points off us. So at that stage, I think it helped the team to kind of rally on. But it was such a strange game because it was 1-1 at half time, and then we got the news that Man City were losing 2-0. And funny enough, it was Coutinho who got the second goal. So we're like, oh, it just sounds like this could be our day where we win the league. And I think it came to a point where it was 3-2 to Man City. And then Liverpool were 1-1 and we got the second goal. And Salah celebrated like he got the winning goals for us to get the league. But unfortunately for him, he was told by the fans that it's 3-2. So a lot of people ask me in terms of the atmosphere of the crowd, did it have an effect on the players? In terms of the Liverpool players, I don't think it did. I think with the game, the goal was just to win the game. We didn't really have obviously as fans, we would check the score for other games, but as players, I think it's full concentration mode. They're not concerned about anything else because if we don't do the job, it doesn't matter what Man City do at the end of the day. So I think the players were focused on getting the win. I was always comfortable or confident, I should say, that we will get the win. But it was the other side where will Man City drop points? And to be fair, they showed championship quality again. And and to be fair, so did we. We were losing 1-0, ended up winning the game 3-1. Man City were 2-0 down and they ended up winning 3-2. So for Liverpool, it's just a shame that we're in an era where Man City are so dominant and they're equally as good or just slightly better than us at this stage. So in terms of my thoughts about the title race, yes, I was slightly gutted in terms of the outcome. But at the same time, really proud in terms of how Liverpool played, especially the second half of the season. I think no one gave us probably a chance in the beginning of the season, but when it came to mid-season, I think everyone expected Man City to run with it because they were 12 points clear. There wasn't really any harm in terms of the title race, pretty much one hand on the handle of the cup. But we showed that sort of fighting spirit. We showed that, we're not going to give up. We're going to keep going and fight until the last game. And that's what we did. So there's a lot of talk between the neutrals that this league isn't as competitive as other leagues in the European leagues, or the Premier League has kind of lost its edge. I disagree with that. For me, this season was probably one of the best seasons in a very long time. On the last day of the season, you had a title race. You had a race for top four for the fourth spot, which I'll review in a second. And then you had the relegation fight as well. So for me, that's excitement in all parts of the table. So there is no reason to say that the league is not competitive. Yes, if you're someone that looks at stats and you look at where Man City won 4 leagues out of 5, yes, it shows dominance, but it's slightly out of context because Liverpool lost the league twice where we've missed out by 1 point. So it's not like they're running away with it at this stage. Unfortunately for other teams, they're just superior to others. And next season is another ball game. We're signing with Haaland and God knows who else they'll sign. it will not be an easier task next year. But that's me thinking out loud in terms of the forthcoming season. But let's get into the top four. But before I do, Manchester Smith has just sent a comment. When AV went up 2-0 in the 69th minute, I feel like they should have gotten the draw at worst. That's what I thought as well. I thought if you're at 2-2, that's a good sort of scoreline for you to kind of just play defensively. But it didn't happen. I didn't watch the game because obviously I was watching the Liverpool game, but yeah, they just fell apart. It was always a big gasp, but when you're at 2-0, you're thinking, come on, like you can really do it for us. And it would have been great for them because they're winning against Man City as well, who are always a tough opposition. But yeah, it just didn't happen. It didn't happen, unfortunately. So it is what it is. I'm still proud of the team. But yeah, gutted, as you have to be. You know, it is football, so you do have to feel some sort of emotion. But you know, we move on, and we've got a cup final to look forward to this Saturday. So onwards and upwards, in my opinion. In regards to the top four race, now that one, yes, a shame for Arsenal, and I have to be honest because I thought I've been saying it for a few months. I think Arsenal pretty much are favourites for the top four, for the fourth spot, I should say. Some people were even saying that they could get third position. That's how strong they were at certain points. And then you had Tottenham before January, I say, where I think top four wasn't even a question. They were probably just about scraping through sixth position. So people were just already expecting them to be fighting for that Europa League spot. But the way they've turned it around, full credit to Conte. I think he's done a magnificent job. I think he's definitely surpassed any expectations. I know the board at Tottenham would have said the aim is for you to get top four. But was that a realistic target? I don't think it was, considering the other teams, especially when you looked at it from last summer's point of view. Chelsea has strengthened, United has strengthened. Liverpool had their big stars back in the team from injuries. Man City looked strong. I know they didn't buy a striker, but they bought Grealish last year. So the odds didn't look like they were in favour of Tottenham breaking through there. But they've been phenomenal. I think Kulusevski has been a phenomenal signing for them. I believe he's on a loan, so they should definitely try and get that on a permanent deal because he's been a revelation since he's come in. Bentonka's played his part as well. But I think a lot of the focus is always on Harry Kane. But I have to give shout out to Heung-min Son. For me, he's been fantastic. And obviously, he ended up being joint top scorer with Mo Salah at the end as well. So I think he's been one of the best performers this season, considering he scored 23 goals. And that's excluding, he didn't take any penalties, I don't believe. So that shows you how much of an effect he's had in this team. And he's irreplaceable. So Conte needs to make sure he stays in that team because there will be suitors outside of the Premier League to try and get his services. He's that level of player where I feel like he's a game changer for any team. So, but yeah, back to the matches itself. I don't think it was ever a doubt that Tottenham would not win against Norwich. And Arsenal did the job as well. I think Everton were pretty much in celebration mode. They weren't really fighting for anything. They had secured Premier League status a few days ago. So I always feel like Arsenal would have won that game. So that was my prediction. I did predict both teams to win. But in regards to the top four, Tottenham got the fourth spot. So Arsenal fans, let me know how you feel in terms of the season itself. Are you gutted, or was top four always like a slight overachievement? Because that's what I've heard a few people say, that the objective was to get Europa League this year. So who knows? But I feel like because you were so close and you pretty much had it wrapped up a couple of months ago, you can't help but feel a little bit gutted. But it is what it is, I guess, in regards to that. And the other two games that were really important was regarding the relegation battle. So Brentford lost to Leeds United. Leeds United won 2-1. And Burnley lost 2-1 to Newcastle. So for me, that was not a surprise. I expected Leeds to at least get a draw. And I didn't see Burnley beat Newcastle. So as a neutral, I would have preferred Leeds United to have stayed up, so I'm happy in that regards. No offense to Burnley, but I feel like they've kind of ridden their luck over the years. I think the lack of investments has played a part in this downfall as well. They showed a good fighting spirit, I think, since they got rid of Sean Dyche, but I think it was too little, too late. And I have to be honest, I'm happy for Jesse Marsch to get out of this relegation battle because he's been getting a lot of criticism from media, fans, all sorts. I don't know why that he's received such negativity. Because when you listen to him in press conferences, he's very well spoken, very articulate, and he's a character, like in a good way. Like I feel like he's a great motivational sort of coach. So I think his opponent was a good one. Yes, he lacks that Premier League experience, but now it doesn't mean a thing. He's secured Premier League status, and now he can kind of put his imprint for his project with Leeds United going forward. So I feel like a lot of the criticism he got was unjustified, especially as the owners at Leeds are American, so people thought, oh, it's that American connection. That's why he got hired. But the job he did at Red Bull Salzburg, I think he was a phenomenal coach there as well. Was one of the first coaches to bring Red Bull Salzburg into the Champions League. So, you know, he coached good players like Haaland, you got your Minaminos and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know where that criticism came from, but congrats to Leeds United for staying up. Obviously, commiserations for Burnley and getting relegated. But yeah, what an exciting end to the season. Just to give you some thoughts as well, it was announced, I think on Saturday, it was announced in terms of who the young player of the season was and the player of the season. So just give you my 2 cents in terms of the selection that was made. So Phil Foden was awarded the Young Player of the Season award. Amazing talent, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that was deserved in my opinion. I'm not saying that because he's a Man City player. I'm just saying how it is. I don't feel like he's been ever present in that team. He's been in and out of the team. Whenever he's played, don't get me wrong, he's been fantastic. But I feel like there's other players, like you can look at Trent Alexander-Arnold, you can look at Saka, even Dexter Rice for me has been one of the most improved players this season that probably should have been in better contention to get that award. That doesn't take away his quality as a player. I just don't feel like he's made that much of an impact this season to be given that award. So that's just my opinion there. And then Kevin De Bruyne getting player of the season. Another one, not because he's a Man City player, but I disagree with this one as well. I think Pep's rant probably like a few weeks ago where he said that everyone in the country was supporting Liverpool and blah, 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 talking a lot of rubbish. Definitely influenced the voting of this awards or got the attention of the decision makers. As Kevin De Bruyne, for me, has only had a good couple of months. Prior to that, he's been injured. He's been in and out of the team. Didn't show his best form. Whereas Mo Salah, he's been amazing throughout the whole season. Yes, I know since the AFCON, I think which ended in February, his form has dipped. He hasn't been scoring as regularly as he was prior to that. But he's got 23 goals, 13 assists, Golden Boot winner, and he was the top playmaker as well. I think that's the second award. So 2 individual accolades, and his team are really close to winning the title. So for me, Mo Salah should have gotten that award. I feel like it's that sort of that short-term syndrome where you only just remember the last couple of months, but you've forgotten the rest of the season as well. So Kevin De Bruyne, obviously fantastic in terms of what he's done this season, but as an individual, I don't think he should have received that award. But that's just my opinion there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Another part I'll do is team of the season. So I don't think this will be as controversial. Some might say that it's slightly biased because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I have a justification to the why I've selected certain players. So in goal, I've got Alisson, who was the Golden Glove winner as well, joint with Edison. in terms of claiming 20 clean sheets, I believe, this season. So for me, he's been formidable for Liverpool in terms of how he's played. As expected, because he's a world-class goalkeeper, in my opinion. So it could have gone to, I could have given it to Edison as well. Another honourable mention would probably be Jose Sarr from Wolves. I feel like for his debut season, he's been fantastic. Great shot stopper, and has definitely improved the defence of Wolves. They can really rely on him in terms of his ability on the ball, but as in a shot stopper as well. I think he brings that calmness into that defence. So he's definitely played a part. So a definite honourable mention for him. I've gone for a back four. So my right back is Trent Alexander-Arnold. 13, I think, got 12 assists, just one short from Salah. Coming from a right back as well, he's been phenomenal. And let's not look at the goals and the assists, because I know a lot of people focus on that. But people need to have an eye test and actually watch how he's played this season as well. And for me, he's been amazing. The stereotypical analysis of Trent is that he can't defend. You got to watch some of the games. Just look at a recent FA Cup final. He was one of our best defenders in that game. This season, he's definitely improved in his defensive duties. One-on-one, he's fantastic, but I think his reading of the game and his positional sense as well has definitely improved this season. So, for me, hands down, the best right back in the league and in the world. Don't agree with that? Argue amongst yourself, because I'm going to say that for a long time. I don't think there's anyone that even rivals Trent Alexander-Arnold. People throw names like Reece James. For me, he's not on his level. As much of a quality player Reece James is, they're not on the same level, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion there on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Left back, I've gone for Cancelo. For me, he's been amazing. Similar kind of impact in terms of how Trent has played for Liverpool. Cancelo's done the same for Man City, but from the left-hand side. Obviously, being right-footed as well, he's able to cut in, which definitely suited the tactics for Man City, as he ended up playing more of a central role coming from that left-back position. Got some crucial goals this season as well. Plenty of assists. He's been amazing. I think Trent and Cancelo are definitely the best fullbacks in Europe, in my opinion. So, honourable mention, obviously Robertson as well. For me, another fantastic season. Player I rate very, very highly. Top player. I know some have their opinions saying that he might be a bit limited in terms of how he plays, but for me, Robertson is phenomenal in terms of how he is as a defender, his all-round game. I've been quite pleased in terms of how Klopp has rotated Robertson and Tsimikas. Tsimikas, whenever he's coming, he's done a fantastic job. So it's good to kind of like rely on quality squad players at the same time. And my centre-back two pairing, I've gone for Virgil Van Dyke, which shouldn't be a surprise. This one will be the one where I feel like a lot of people have a difference of opinion. I've gone for Joe Matip. For me, underrated, phenomenal player. I think people disregard him as a top centre-back because in previous seasons he's not been present. He's been injured, or he'll get a good run of 5 or 10 games and then he'll go out for the rest of the season. So that was his downfall. It was never ability-wise. This season, thank God, he's actually been fully fit throughout the whole season and he's shown his true quality. I'll be honest with you, there's games where I feel like he's performed above Virgil van Dijk. That's how much of a player I believe he has been. And forming that partnership Van Dijk just gives a different level of protection for that Liverpool team. And then you've got Konate, who comes in as well, who's been fantastic. Young player in his first season. Still hasn't lost the game. Let's hope, touch wood, he doesn't lose this Saturday as well, whenever he starts for Liverpool. So, no, future's bright in terms of Liverpool's defensive players right there. So, that's my back four. Midfield, I've gone for Rodri. I think he's been fantastic. He's been one of the best defensive midfielders, hands down, this season. Has gotten some crucial goals as well for Man City this season. So, yeah, I think he scored one of the best goals for City. I think it was against Everton where he smashed it in top corner. So yeah, Rodri definitely. Kevin De Bruyne as well has had a good season. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he should have got that Player of the Year. as I mentioned earlier. But let me not elaborate again in terms of that selection. But I do feel like he's had a great season regardless. So definitely deserves to be my team of the season. And then I've gone for Dexter Rice. So a player that I feel like has really improved this season, has shown a new level in his game. I feel like he was quite underrated in terms of his passing. I've been quite impressed with the variation in his passing, his movement, and even the way he drives his team as well. I think he's matured as a player and looks like a real leader. With Mark Noble leaving as well, you've got a natural replacement there. Whether he stays this summer at West Ham, that's another debate for another show, because a lot of rumours are circulating that there's a lot of interest for him, as there should be, to be fair. I don't think the price tag justifies his worth. I don't think he's a £100 million player. That's just being honest, but we'll see. I think for West Ham, it would be nice for him to play there. I think they've qualified for the Conference League, so they've missed out on Europa League. But yeah, we'll see how that goes for Declan Rice in terms of the next season. And then front three, I've gone for Salah, obviously going boot winner, 23 goals, 13 assists. Yes, you know the drill. Son, 23 goals as well. Fantastic season for him. And I've gone for Ronaldo up front. So considering he played for a below par in terms of quality of a team of Manchester United, to get those numbers where he was close to 20 goals, full credit to him. So at 37 years of age, Man United were that terrible this year that if he wasn't in the team, I kid you not, they'll be fighting relegation. That's how bad United were this season. So obviously things will change, I think, going forward. You've got Ten Hag doing his first press conference, speaking, with a touch of confidence, arrogance, however you want to phrase it. But you can tell he's ready for the job. So interesting times for the football neutrals, as I feel like you'll see maybe a different United next season, but not wishing them any luck, to say the least. But that wraps us for today. So thank you for tuning in. Actually, before I do, there is a special segment where I have selected the Football Talk Podcasts Premier League Awards. So these are the selections that I've gone for and not followed what the media have said. So I'll be posting this on my social media after the show. And then if you want to have a debate or have any interaction with me afterwards, feel free to do so. So 5 categories. So I've got player of the season, young player of the season, manager of the season, best signing, and flop of the season. So I think if you listen to what I said, I think the selection will be quite simple, but I'll go through it anyway. So player of the season, I've gone for Mo Salah. Not Liverpool bias there. I do feel like he deserved that award this season for his input and his impact as a player. There was a point where Salah was the best player in the world. So if you're playing at that kind of level, you've had a formidable season. So I feel like it was a bit unjustified for him not to get the official award. So yes, it is what it is, I guess. And then the young player of the season, I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I feel like he's sort of disregarded just because he's been playing for such a long time. He's been playing professionally for 5 years now. He's 23 years old. The category is under 23. Some people assume that it's under 21s. It's not. It's under 23s. And because he's such an established player, people don't view him as the young player anymore. So, he was part of the nomination. So I feel like he should have gotten that award hands down. So it is what it is, I guess. And then manager of the season, I've gone for Pep. You had Liverpool breathing down the neck continuously all season. And it was a point where I feel like, to win the league where you've got a very strong rival behind you as well, shows good quality in terms of your managerial skill. And obviously he's won 4 out of 5. The Champions League is still the one that the fans are dying for. But in terms of his performance in the Premier League, I have to give to him. And obviously honourable mention to Klopp. I was quite close to picking Klopp, but I thought if I pick Klopp, people are just going to think this is a Liverpool show. So I wanted to be a bit neutral there. But I think he's equally been as effective or impactful this season in terms of their coaching. So yeah, honourable mention to Jurgen Klopp there. Best signing, I've gone for Luis Diaz. I think he's had such a big impact from the January window that I feel like it definitely changed the spectrum of Liverpool season. At that stage, we had Mane, Salah, and Naby Keita at AFCON as well. So maybe we didn't have that sort of strength in squad, but he came in and just changed the impact of everything. So exciting times, you know. He looks amazing. He looks like a world beater right now. Just imagine him with a full preseason under his belt and getting used to the players around him, getting used to the language, the culture, and be a bit more accustomed to his surroundings. So I expect big things from him next season. And flop of the season will be no surprise. It has to be Romelu Lukaku. Big price tag and failed to deliver. You know, a lot of people say he had a good spell in the beginning, got injured, in and out of the team. Yes, agreed. But I was expecting big things from him because I watched him for Inter Milan, and he just looks a shadow of the player that he was in Italy. So yeah, next season, who knows? He might change his fortunes there, but in regards to his performance this season, I don't think he's lived up to it. So it is what it is, I guess. It's got another comment here from Madison Smith. Salah had the stats to win the award, and it would have been justified. I think KDB means more to Man City than Salah does to Liverpool. Yeah, I get your point. For me, it's just like KDB got the award because of his recent impact, whereas Salah, I think if they had so kind of calculated the overall performance in the longer run, it would have made more sense to give it to Salah. But it is what it is. I'm not too sort of bitter or salty about it. I just feel like Salah definitely deserved that award. I feel like he's had such a fantastic season. But, you know, he's still got those Golden Boot accolades and top playmaker as well. So I'm sure he'll sleep easy. And hopefully, touch wood, that we do well this season. This weekend, I should say, sorry, in the Champions League final. So it is what it is, I guess. But yes, thank you for everyone for tuning in tonight. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff to our channel. And yes, please make sure to hit that notification bell. You'll receive a notification regarding any upcoming content. The scheduled content I have this week is a preview show for Liverpool versus Real Madrid. I plan to do that this Friday, so a day before the final takes place. So please feel free to tune in and get involved. Get involved with sending your comments, and you know, if you've got any questions to ask me, feel free to do so. And yes, that wraps up us for today in terms of our end of season content for today. So yes, thank you again. I hope to see you guys later on this week. Good night.